Film controversy in Florida. What one school is considering for a film about the first African American girl to desegregate an all white school in Louisiana. Plus, persevering through it all. I spoke with trans rights advocate Elle Moxley about Trans Day of Visibility and supporting the trans community. Welcome to Advocate Today. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. A school in Florida is labeling a Disney film about Ruby Bridges inappropriate. Ruby Bridges was the first African American child to desegregate the William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans. The images of her being ushered into the school by federal marshals are iconic. She is still active in the civil rights movement. Recently, a Florida parent flagged the 1998 movie Ruby Bridges, arguing that the movie teaches children racial slurs and that, quote, white people hate black people. The writer of the film criticized the state's Stop Woke Act and called the school's ban an overreaction.
I think it's unfortunate. I think it's too bad that one parent had the ability to stop other children from seeing the film for the rest of the year. And I think it's an overreaction, but it's not surprising because it seems like it's part of the Stop Woke Act and the parents' rights movement, which gives parents, unfortunately, that power.
The same school district pulled Toni Morrison's Bluest Eye in January after it was challenged by a parent. Advocates argue the stories are age appropriate and valuable teaching tools to understand U.S. history. March 31st is Transgender Day of Visibility, and now more than ever, we need to recognize and celebrate the trans community. I had the honor of speaking to Elle Moxley. She's a trans rights advocate and founder and CEO of the Marsha P. Institute. We spoke about supporting trans lives, her own journey, and more. Hi, Elle Moxley, founder and executive director of the Marsha P. Institute. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here and always great to join the advocate for conversations and all the fun.
Yes, well, we absolutely loved having you on our Unseen in History issue, so thank you for that as well. And the reason we really wanted to chat today specifically was about International Transgender Day of Visibility. Would you talk a little bit about International Trans Day of Visibility and what the Institute is doing to commemorate that or to support folks who are looking for support?
Absolutely. Transgender Day of Visibility over the last decade, just over the last decade, has really taken many shapes and many forms. It was established initially in the community's understanding as a day to celebrate ourselves, to celebrate the triumphs and the journeys that we've taken to be our authentic selves. As transgender people have become more visible in society and have become more of a target to people's interests, we have often utilized the time that we celebrate Transgender Day of Visibility as a day to inform and educate. And so, how we are utilizing and understanding the day this year is to really reclaim it, so that we are appreciating ourselves over time, and also appreciating each other as transgender people. We know that the journeys we've all taken are not the same. They are unique and have been maybe challenging, and maybe some have not been. But it is our birthright to celebrate our humanity and to constantly encourage that in society, as opposed to constantly having to be teachers or martyrs. And so I'm so excited for trans people, especially young trans people, to continue to see trans people access themselves publicly. And for those who have not found that part of their journey yet, to be encouraged to continue on their journey, knowing that they can also be visible in a way that is meaningful to their lives, as opposed to those who maybe want to debate or distract them from their lives.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I wonder, would you talk a little bit about how other LGBT folks can, or the LGB who are cisgender, how can they help uh, with visibility, and also, straight allies or cisgender allies?
Absolutely. Visibility has not ensured any safety or comfort for trans people. We've been visible despite having any access to security. And so we are at a great time where those who um, are marginalized generally, but who also can relate to the trans experience, we are at a time where we do need to build more solidarity and more um kinship, if you will, around being in this together. The trans community is really under attack, and I say that graciously. uh the onslaught of violent murders, the onslaught of legislative bills and rhetoric that we've seen politically and socially, is not something that we have enough numbers to fight on our own. So those who do have great numbers, great access to resources, who have already found solutions for themselves and how they've been accepted in society, we need that support. And so now it's really time for us to band together across difference, across cultural norms or societal norms, to really stand in the gap for trans people, not only in this country, but all of the rest of the world, because America's power does implicate and has implications for others.
What do you recommend for those folks, or what sort of advice, or where would you point them for help, for a little bit of healing, and to really take care of themselves?
To own that, you can take your time to figure out what it is that you need in this world to not only stay alive, but to stay alive and be well. I know in my own experience, I did not always have the answers and still don't. But I made a commitment to always be true to myself, that I would be as Black and as happy or mad as I possibly could. And I would always be trans. I would not try to be anything else but what I knew myself to be. And that in itself is healing for me and has been. Um, you know, this world could really create an environment in which you feel like you have to give up, or that if you're unable to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, that there are no other options for you. But there are so many examples in our community who have defied those odds, and who are still defying them. So, it takes a lot out of you to find another willpower and another strength. But what I do know about trans people is that when nobody else can, we can, and we have, and we always will. And so I hope that those who may be struggling or trying to figure it out, that they just hold on and just give yourself time. It will shift and change for you. I know that for myself.
Thank you so much to Elle for stopping by. There is much to learn from her. Visit marshap.com for more information on International Trans Day of Visibility and how the legacy of Marsha P. Johnson lives on. We're continuing our Women's History Month spotlights by honoring women's and LGBTQ+ rights activist Ivy Bottini. The out activist devoted over 50 years of her life to feminist and LGBTQ+ causes. She was involved in the early days of the modern feminism movement and helped found the New York chapter of the National Organization for Women. In the 1980s, Bottini organized LGBTQ+ rights marches, protests, and dine-ins. She founded AIDS Network LA, the first AIDS organization in Los Angeles. Activists today owe a great deal to Patini and the foundations she set. Thank you for joining me on this Advocate today. You can visit us at advocatechannel.com or wherever you stream your content for more advocate discussions and spotlights. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. I'll see you next time.